Hi students, many people have asked me how to graph multiple series in a single scatter plot, so I'm going to show you how to do that in Excel, and the approach would be very similar in Google Sheets. So let's say we have the data like you get from the foreign domestic lab, where you have three groups of X and Y data. So in your case this would be domestic box office and foreign box office, but in this case I have three different relationships between X and Y. So one way you can do this is by creating, and this is the way you have to do in Google Sheets. You have one column for the X values, and then you have one column for the first series, so linear, the second series, quadratic, and the third series, cubic. And the way that works, fix the width there, is then this X, these two will go here. These two, this goes here, and this goes next to it, but not underneath the linear ones, underneath their own. And then finally, we take these, copy them, paste them here, and then move these over to. So now what we have is they're all in the same X column. So X, the X-axis means the same thing for all of them, but each of them is going to appear as its own color on the Y-axis. So let's see how that works. So you select all those, insert, I'll ask it to do a scatter plot like this, and then you get something like this. So we'll get rid of chart titles, put axis titles in, and then we definitely want a legend. So I'll make this bigger. And so then you can see the three different relationships all have different so this is Y value. They all have different colors associated with them. And that's how you kind of have to do it in Google Sheets. Now there's another way you can do it in Excel. In Excel you could also select your first group and make a graph from them. And so we'll have this here. And again, get rid of chart title, add axis titles. So this is going to be the X value, and this is going to be Y value. And then we're also going to say we want a legend. And then we're going to, so now we've got this, and we want the legend to be, I like the legend to be on the top or the bottom. So the legend on top this time. Now, what we need to do is we want to add data with the select data thing. So if you look across here, these are all the different tabs. So in the normal tab we see here is home. Now see here, there's no chart design or chart format tab, but when I click in the chart, these two appear. So then I pick chart design, the chart design tab. It's right behind my webcam, so it might take me a couple tries. There it is. So now that appears, and I want to change. No, I want to select data. So click on that. And so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to edit this series, and I'm going to change its name to point to this. So now it's going to be called linear. So that updates. I'm going to hit OK. Now I'm going to add another series. And this is what you can't do in Google Sheets. In Google Sheets, you can't give different series different X values. They all have to have the same X values. But in Excel, say, okay, here's my next series, quadratic ones, and the series X values are down here. Now it's important to note that I've only picked the numbers here. I haven't picked the letters. And then if you click here, you can select these. Now see this one in brackets? That's going to give me trouble. So I select this, and it gives me crap about that, right? because there's this 1 and this plus. So editing this thing is kind of a pain. The keys don't respond like the way you want them. If you hit left, you're going to add things to it. See how it moved the reference around? So that's confusing. So we're just going to delete these. And that nonsense is avoidable if you just use these weird up arrow things. So now I've added a second series. It hasn't updated yet, but when I hit OK, it will. So now you can see the parabola in addition to the line. And then I'll add one more. So my third series is the cubic relationship. And then my x values are down here. I have to make sure I click that. And my y values. Again, see how it's all selected, so then it just gets replaced. Are there. And OK. And then OK again. So these two graphs are essentially identical, the only difference being where I put the legend. And that's the other way of doing it in Excel. This is usually more a preferred way of doing Excel than this one, but they both work. This first way is the only way to do it in Google Sheets. I hope that helps, and I'm done.